You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and ladies and gentlemen, if there's any way to spend a 4th of July, it is with the ladies of LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast, LFC 40 Booty Camp 5, the return. We got Courtney Coco Loco Pemberton taking on the returning. We saw her back at LFC 18, Lace versus Leather. Samiha, the Goddess Glam. Samiha, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
First of all, it's an absolute pleasure. When I first started doing this podcast with LFC in 2019, one of the great things, folks, is really watching back the events and watching some of the great talents and great fighters, much like Samiha here, that we get to see in each and every show presented by Lingerie Fighting Championships. And my goodness, you're about from LFC 18 with Genevieve the Sorceress Hex, then at the time known as Genevieve the Serpentine. My goodness gracious, man, that was a hell of a debut.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that thoroughly, and she was amazing to work with. She was such a great person for me as well. So it's funny how things just work out, you know.
Well, it's great to see, because even going back to 2014 and some of the early inceptions of LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships, it showcased a lot of great women like yourself learning the strikes and kicks, going down on the ground, and she hit you with one hell of a knockout to the face. But I will say this, highly entertaining, number one, but number two, I really did enjoy how Genevieve, who we've seen lastly at LFC back at Booty Camp 2021 during the pandemic era at the FSW Arena, she is one so flexible, so athletic, the yoga style, the fortune teller side. She's very in tune with her spirit and very in tune with her combative natures. I gotta say, first and foremost, not only did y'all click, but I was really entertained. I know a lot of the LFC universe was as well.
Yeah, for sure. It was an amazing experience all around. And yeah, I was sad to go, but I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be back and having this opportunity. So yeah, really excited.
Well, first for me, I got to say it's a pleasure not only having you on the show and getting a chance to meet you, but I love meeting some of the OGs that we get to see, especially on their way back, like yourself, Miss Goddess, Miss Samiha Glam. I got to ask you first and foremost, what kind of gravitated you towards the LFC rankings and Lingerie Fighting Championships? How'd that experience first come to fruition?
So it's kind of a interesting story. First and foremost, I am a professional makeup artist. I've been doing it for over 15 years, almost 20 years now, actually. So I was doing the makeup for all the girls there, and they invited me to the ring, which was very unexpected from me. I did not plan for it, actually. But when I got the opportunity, I said yes, because I was just coming back from a tremendous weight loss journey, which sparked the owner's interest and many other people on the crew and staff. So it was actually just the right timing at the right place. But yeah, that's how that happened.
Well, first off, the journey is worth taking. Number one, you look fabulous. And number two, you're very welcome.
Okay, we went over the rules in the locker room. Do you have any questions?
I know that Genevieve has these abilities to predict, what's going to happen next. I try to kind of focus in on her eyes and kind of distract her from those thoughts.
Even though she's my friend, at that point, I don't even know who it is. I just know what I'm doing, what my mission is. And I don't really come back around out of that astral plane until the fight's over.
You ready? Are you ready? Let's fight.
Serpentine there, Eric, with the very odd animal-like movements as she approaches this fight.
How will the Goddess deal with this?
Glam looks hesitant.
Genevieve versus Samiha, God, just strange all around. Our game plan with Genevieve was to try and get in close, grab some legs, and she listened to me, kinda, sorta. Yeah.
Because I trained with Samiha so many times, I knew that she would know or be able to try to predict what I would do, and I'm not a predictable person. So I watch my familiars, I watch my animals, I watch my black cat. In this case, I watched my snake.
She was just weird.
I didn't teach her to try and fight like a snake. I wouldn't even know how to teach you to fight like a snake, but I guess that's just part of who she is. She is the snake lady, so.
Serpentine moves inside, does get the fight to the ground, looking to move to the back, and Glenn gets free.
Genevieve totally shocked me in that fight. She was doing all these like groundwork type things, very confusing, very intimidating actually. I didn't know whether to throw a punch or to get on the ground with her or to wrestle her. I was thrown off by that.
Glam again looks very kind of confused, intense but confused on the outside. Just how to deal with the movement.
She wants to get her striking going, but it seems really difficult with the way the Serpentine's moving.
MMA.
Seems to be looking to bring this fight to the floor.
The Genevieve versus Samia fight, and to be honest with you, I was a little disappointed.
Boring.
It just wasn't as exciting as I hoped that the two of them would be.
There it is, right there. That's been her best strike so far, landing to the ribs of her opponent. Finding trouble with the punches with the head moving so frequently, it's difficult to track her opponent down.
Strategically, I was trying to get her up to fight me. She was crouched down most of the time. I was trying to figure out what she was doing, and then when I realized she was going to stay down there, I tried to throw some jabs, some kicks, down towards her, but then when she took me down, I was just very at daze with what she was doing.
She's looking to take her back, looking for the rear naked, but the goddess is up and out.
I trained Samia well. Samia just switched over to my team recently, so I only had a little bit of time with her, but I fixed up all the problems that Jason had.
All right, Genevieve, stay low, Genevieve. Good.
Serpentine is moving inside again, does get the fight to the floor, again in top position. Glam scrambling underneath. Serpentine so tough on top, in control, looking for a possible submission. Glam trying hard to get free.
She's on my team. I love coaching her, but she's kind of strange and awkward. And that's kind of how the fight played out. She was strange and awkward and sort of crawling across. I didn't really want her to do that.
She was just weird.
When I felt out her style and what she was trying to do, I went down to her level and I threw some kicks. I thought I was doing well. I thought I was going to get her down.
Glam gaining confidence, but there's the kick again. This time it's caught. Serpentine on top once again, looking for the finish as she controls the right arm.
Got her struggling to get out. And nice, she's back to her feet once again. And Genevieve, now punch her. Good.
Oh, where did that come from? The first round knockout as predicted.
Wow.
Genevieve knocked me out with a punch to the face. Completely knocked me out, just cold. And I guess that's what she earlier predicted, so.
The reason I was able to knock her out in the first round as predicted is because being a psychic, I just anticipate her moves.
Her predicting, I think, was, coincidence.
Referee Frank Perillo stops the fight at 2:08 of the first round due to knockout. Your winner, in the blue corner, Genevieve the Sorceress Serpentine.
Maybe I should take Genevieve to Vegas with me because she predicted this knockout accurately. That might be a good idea.
Samia losing would be 100% Jason's fault.
Number two, I think that's wonderful, getting in tune with your spirit, everything aligning and the stars aligning to where you are here with LFC. What I do love about you is with your overall spirit, and you talk about being the makeup lady and the body art. Folks, if you've not checked out this sensation right here on Instagram, my God, from everything that we see from the tattoo side of things, the artwork, you have a natural gift and talent. I love the aesthetics and the fashion and the finesse that you really bring in with your work.
Thank you. Yeah, I've always been an artist at heart. Have tried many different outlets of art, enjoyed every single one of them. Still do, experimenting. I get very bored very easily, so I'm just all over the place. Now I'm going into interior design. I built my dungeon, absolutely love it. But I primarily, and I try to have been focusing on body art, body tape, which right now is my baby. I want to be doing that all the time. And then I got into the adult industry, and it's another form of, a lot of people wouldn't agree, but it is another form of art to me. I take a lot of pride in it. I take a lot of pride in my stylization and what I bring to the table that others wouldn't. And I really, really enjoy that as well. So it's another part of my life that came after LSC, pretty much.
Can I just say, first and foremost, you are speaking my language, ma'am. And here's why I love it. What I get to do, I love interviewing people of all facets of life. And when it comes to the adult entertainment industry, I myself, like you view any adult site or what have you, everything in life that you really see. And one of my favorite quotes is, "Life is an art form. We're all applying our crafts." So we're all continuing to apply our crafts in amazing fashion. I think whatever you get into, whether it be the adult entertainment industry, there's in front of the camera, there's behind the camera, there's so much work that goes into content creation, putting out said films. And I've always really just enjoyed, not just for the sensuality of it, the story of it, but just the overall raw passion behind it. And that's art in itself right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I agree with you. And if you don't, I don't know, if you don't see that side of it, like if you're not into that aesthetically, I guess, if you just like the cold white rooms and the sterile like offices and stuff like that, I get it. But I think that artist sex, and there's a lot that has to do with like the dimensions and the things that are in kind of intertwined with it and wrapped up in it. So I like to translate that part into it and just bring something new to the table, something that's like aesthetically something to look at and to experience, I guess, as opposed to the raw like same thing over and over again.
Well,
That's
you need to
usually
have
put in the industry.
No, you're absolutely correct. You have to have variety in anything. And I mean, for God's sake, I can see this one over here, folks, doing her damn thing, whether she's looking sensual as a nun, whether she's wearing the dominatrix type of vibes. I think the aesthetic from the fashion in the outer world, the internal and external beauty, so to speak, really goes into it. And I got to say, with what you do on the adult side of things, not only commendable in the fact that I got a love and respect for it, but number two, I think you're going to have a lot of people gravitating towards your work, much like myself and many others. So not only continued success on that front, but I think you really put a lot of work into it, and it certainly does show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Means a lot.
No, you're very welcome. I could tell you straight up and down like 6 o'clock. I think when it comes into entertainment form, like when you're a preteen, right? I think the first, and I'll put it out here, like the first ever site I came across that was adult oriented when I was a kid was like girlshuntinggirls.com, when you had like the Naughty Americas and everything like turned out, man. And the premise was just girls being picked up in the van, and then it would lead to one-on-one scenes, threesomes, what have you. It's really become evolutionized with the adult entertainment world. Now we have X Hamster, X Videos, many vids OnlyFans. It's really grown for like a product and a business, and really for people to accumulate money and just apply their craft. It's amazing to see the evolution of how it's grown in the industry.
Yeah, it is. And I'm still like a baby in it too. So I'm really excited to see like what happens in the future. You know, I'm kind of like doing my own thing and trying to stick to my own guns, but I'm excited to kind of get more and more into it, and you know, and see it from the other side of things, like because I'm still not exposed as much as like my peers or like people that are, you know, colleagues and stuff. Like, you know, people are like, oh, do you know this person? Do you know this? And like, I'm like, I have no idea. I like stick to my lane of like, so I need more, you know, more experience and outlooks on it.
No, but I think, well, first and foremost, we always keep learning and adapting, and I love your passion, and I love that factor. But I got to say, first and foremost, with you, I mean, you bring a lot to the table. First of all, the hair, the external beauty, the tattoos, everything, the vibe. I think that's what's great about people, how we can draw to one another, whether it be relationships, friendships, or who we deal with on a business sense. I think it's all about not only the vibes, like I mentioned there, but I think the overall person's foundation, if you will, because sexiness comes in many different forms, whether it be physical attraction or what have you. But if you have that overall round foundation and just your overall spirit, I think that's what gravitates a lot of people. So I think that's going to, you know, really keep you going in the long front on your journey.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I agree totally.
Awesome. And I got to say, first and foremost as well, besides the body aesthetic, I got to say what I always equated to as well as with your body tape. First of all, who doesn't love a great woman looking very sensual and the caution tape type of vibes and many different things? I mean, we've seen it in so many different realms. Look at Madonna on the cover of her book. She would have the caution tape and whatnot. You would see a lot of the aesthetic with Madonna and the dominatrix type of vibe with the Human Nature music video. So there's so many things that we get style and aesthetic from with pop culture. It's amazing to see. And I love the body tape form. I think that's really coming into fruition for you as well.
Yeah, it's a really big like passion of mine right now because there's so much you can do with it. A lot of people don't know about it. It's like kind of new in terms of how many people know or have seen it. So I really enjoy creating things that are like non-seen. Like that's like kind of my motto for everything. Like bring something that no one's seen before in some form or fashion. because it's just, the same thing over and over. It's like I know I get bored. I can't do it. So I want everyone to experience that, like, change, and how impactful change is. And even just like one speck would lead to, like, the mountain, and everybody's like feeding off of each other, and it's just, it's just the most beautiful way of inspiration. And that's like what I want to kind of put out there and ascend for. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to tape, and who doesn't love taping naked women? Like, I bonus, like like I get like the bonus of that, which is fantastic. And being around sexy, open-minded people that are just, they're free and like trying to, or maybe just for the first time, to unravel in some sense, free them from like, the feeling of being naked, and and all that. So there's a lot involved that I enjoy about it.
Well, it's a confidence deal. And that's what I admire and I love and respect about women like yourself and many women that we see in the LFC product. I mean, it takes a lot for people to get in front of the cameras and do it, because some people can be camera shy and some people may not have that comfortability factor yet. But I think with whatever we do in life, I think whatever accommodates us and makes us comfortable, I say to go for it. And also at the same time, in the same aesthetic, I really do admire the fact that when you're around such, again, naked women, the body is the temple, whether we put tattoos on it or what we do and how we view our overall bodies. I think it's great to see an empowering message and an enlightening message for people to maybe expand their horizons, really get the creative juices flowing. Because like you mentioned, you don't want to always be bored. And I'm someone like that myself, where I can get bored instantly. You always have to be jonesing to do something. And I think it's always important to stay positively proactive in whatever you do.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
And I got to say, first and foremost with you, man, especially with what you were doing, we got this LFC 40 Booty Camp 5. God bless America, folks. 4th of July, LFC. Spend it with us. You know you want to, and you should want to spend it with Samia, the Goddess Glam over here. You are making your return. Welcome back. Your dreams are ticking out like welcome back, Cotter. And you are taking on another returnee, making her return from LFC 36 Booty Camp 4 back in 2022 against Lauren Fogel. Courtney Coco Loco Pemberton. Oh, how excited are you for this bout? Because somebody's got to win here. You've been in there with Genevieve. She's been in there with Lauren. Y'all are looking for a win here. How excited are you for you to take on Courtney?
I'm very, very excited. It's shocking that I'm with Courtney. I've known Courtney, and so all of this is, again, another thing in the universe coming together. So it's got me riled up. It's gotten me excited. I don't do comebacks for nothing. So all I have to say is, like, get ready to see a fight. That's all I have to say.
I like your style. So pretty much what you're saying, you're like LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback. You've been here for years. I like your style.
Yeah.
Now, let's put this out here, because with names like the Goddess and with names like Coco Loco, I got to say, if that doesn't say a big fight, I don't know what does, number one. But number two, like you mentioned with Miss Courtney Pemberton, from her music style, from her club vibe, she's got great vocalization. She's another one, very free spirit, and just someone that really has such a vibrant and exuberant energy. For those who've not been around Coco Loco, she is certainly an extraordinary ball of energy.
She is. She's a really good time. We pair along really well, so it's going to be interesting as well, like, just to kind of be there, and I know Coco's a lot of fun, so I gotta buckle in for this one. She's a lot of fun.
I will say, for those who have seen Coco Loco, Miss Courtney Pemberton's entrance back at LFC 36 Booty Camp 4, very much Madonna meets Marilyn Monroe, Miss Elegance, very sexiness. And she had hell of a debut against Lauren Fogel. And what I love about LFC is the Element lingerie. Now, Miss Samia, the Goddess Glam over here, we got to put this out in the forefront here, man, because your style, your profile, your dripping and finesse, it make no sense like Bruno Mars up in here. I got to ask you, from the lingerie side of things, from the moment you come out to that curtain, you make your entrance, boom, then we get right into the ring. It's the overall experience. So I got to ask you, what's the lingerie side of things? Some people like it classy and sexy. Some people have some leather and lace, like we mentioned back at LFC 18. What is some of your favorite lingerie styles? What can we expect from the attire going into this, man?
Yeah, so people that know me or my aesthetic know that I'm like very much into latex. I like things that look wet. Like, I like to look wet all the time. Like, latex, leather, chains, I want a pop of color. I like when black pairs with like a pop of color, but I usually wear pretty dark clothes. So I know a lot of girls want to like go out there and show like a lot of color or like, make an impact with color. But I usually make an impact else some, other ways. So I would like to maybe wear some leather, some chains, something latexy, I guess, but definitely going in sexy and definitely going into my style.
And I like that style. Like I mentioned earlier with the Madonna Human Natures type of vibe, we can put some Marilyn Manson chains and you can invite everybody to the dope show. Kaboom, kaboom. I want to love you. There's so many different aesthetics of pop culture mixed with just, oh my goodness, I'm excited for this attire, number one, number two. But I mean, let's be honest. If you look at the fashion side of things, folks, if the one, the only Misty Misdemeanor Ellie can have a big ass trash bag and can't stand the rain, super duper fly, we could have so many different fashions and aesthetics just from you saying that. I'm excited for that attire, number one, but number two, I think that's the first time anybody said I like it wet on this podcast. So thank you for that, because my goodness, but I cannot wait for this. You got me stoked. I cannot wait to see this lingerie, and especially on the 4th of July, nonetheless. Hello.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't usually go with like, I don't go with like the aesthetic that it's going to be like expected. So yeah.
The creative juices are flowing, folks. This is what you can expect from the LFC when it comes to July 4th, 2024, LFC 40 Booty Camp 5, featuring Samia, the Goddess Glam, making that return. Hello, against Courtney Coco Loco Pemberton. We got Coven on there. We got Brandy May and Bella Inc. Oh my God, it is a bonanza. But I will say this before we do close this out, man. And I'm going to say this, Samia, the Goddess Glam, from your bout with Genevieve to this bout coming up with the Coco Loco and what you do within all your works. You're a Jill of all trades. I definitely love to have you back on around two to discuss more of the fight and do the damn thing. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure being here as well.
You're very welcome. So a couple final questions before we close this out, because I did mention you are a Jill of all trades from the adult side of things, from your makeup, your body, doing everybody up, glamming it up, caution tape, body tape, whole nine. I got to say, from the many vids and the OnlyFans side of things, I also got to put this out there. We see so many different communities, and I got to say the community that we see on many vids and so many adult entertainment sites, I've been loving it. And that's got to be great for you because, again, for someone who's such a newbie, you've been putting out the solo content. You've been putting out, okay, I'm going to dress like a nun, like I mentioned. I'm going to do this content, that content. I love it, man. So how great has that community been for you thus far within your tenure?
It's been amazing. It's been so welcoming, and it feels like a community that I've like missed out on like for so long. I always try to find it. The open-mindedness of it all, the people that are just like kind of confident, willing to try new things, willing to like, be somewhat of a chameleon, and just be, vulnerable. I think it's just a beautiful community. I personally love it. Of course, every community has its faults and all that stuff, which is also a great learning curve. I enjoy every part of it. Absolutely.
I got to say, if there's one quote I can put in there, to quote the late, great George Michael, sex is natural, sex is fun, the sex is best when it's one-on-one. I want your sex. We'll take it back to 87, folks. But if that man can say, and you can see what George Michael has done for pop culture and so many different artists in their own right, pun intended on that, ma'am, I think it's going to be great to see what the future holds for so many different aesthetics and wonderment, from fashion to finesse, and especially the lingerie fighting championships. So it is a great time, a great year. It's 2024. Let's keep on grinding. And before we close this out, another question I have before I have you promote the socials, man, because she is a doggone good follow. Any advice that you would give to anyone who wants to get into the makeup, the artist front, adult entertainment industry, whatever, what have you, the entertainment, what advice would you give them with the knowledge that you have obtained thus far?
Just to kind of put yourself out there and, really make sure that you network and that you aren't afraid to talk to people and to ask questions. I wish I asked more questions getting into it. I think I would have gotten farther faster. So that's one thing. And if something's not your vibe, if someone's not your vibe, or if a certain aesthetic or something like that isn't it, like don't ever settle for any of it. Like, make sure that you stick exactly to what you want to do and how you want to bring it to the table, because everything like that can get dark. Like, you can get into a place where you think that it's the best thing on earth, and then you wake up one morning and you're asking yourself why you're doing it. So make sure that you always do exactly as you wish to do, and do not do not change lanes. It's not worth it.
I like your style, and to add on to that, first and foremost, beautifully and eloquently said, ma'am, but also just to add to the stay on your grind, stay on your grind and keep on shining, because the sky is the limit, to quote the late, great, notorious B.I.G. Hello. But I will say this about the sky being the limit knows no boundaries, and the limit where we would like to see you is on these social media fronts, man, where we can follow you on Twitter, you're on Instagram, TikTok, where can we follow you?
Yeah. So if you follow my Twitter, it's pretty easy to remember. It's Miss Red X Sex. So that's MSREDX Sex, and it's all one word. On there, you will find my link in the bio, which leads to all of my links, my Hubster link. So that has all of it in there, and that's the easiest way, I think.
Beautifully said. The links will be in the description below this show, folks. And if you want to check out Lingerie Fighting Championships and this very podcast, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, get yourself on over to LFCfights.com. Get yourself over, I'm doing a lot of pointing, to the VIP section of the LFC website to check this podcast. And see that face over here with the redness and, oh my goodness, the aesthetic. And you can check out this face if you want, but more of that face. And you can check out LFC 40 Booty Camp 5, July 4, 2024. The return, not of the Mac like Mark Morrison, but return of the Mac of Samia the Goddess Glam.
Yeah.
Against Coco Loco Pemberton. We're all hype, baby. So check it out. Links will be in the description, and subscribe to the Mike Larkin 92 YouTube channel, where you can see this video and many other great shows, because you should, and you can see a lot of great content coming forward. So Samia the Goddess Glam, number one, do you have any final words for the LFC universe, and do you have any final words for your opponent, Courtney Coco Loco Pemberton?
Courtney Coco, I'm coming for you, bitch, and not the way that you think I am. I love her so much. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That right there. I'm just going to say that was the best. I'm going to wrap that up for that trash talk. Yes. Coming for you and not the way that you want to be. I like it. I like your style. Man. Okay, that popped me. So if that doesn't pop you, pun intended, to want to see this, I don't know what does. Oh yeah, we're going there. So for Samia the Goddess Glam, and a goddess in her own right, as she is, my name is Mike Larkin, and as I always say to close each and every one of these shows, my mindset, my lifestyle, and the name of this podcast, folks, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are, and Samia the Goddess Glam, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for watching as well.
Come talk to me. I love the way you're on to me. Looking at you, looking like you're wondering if we're here for the same reason. And now that you wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Yeah, I bet you're here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. If you're looking for a good time, honey, I'm right here. If you're looking for the good life, good vibes, honey, I'm right here. And I'm waiting for you. And I love you in your summer skin. Looking at you, looking like you're into it. 'Cause we're here for the same reason. Yeah, I just wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Like honey. Yeah, 'cause I'm just here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. That's something. If you're looking for a good time,